Have you ever looked up at the night sky, filled with countless stars, and just wondered, how did all of this begin? Science gives us one answer: the Big Bang, a colossal explosion from a single, infinitely dense point, expanding over billions of years to form the galaxies, stars, and planets we see today. It's a story of cosmic evolution, of physics and chemistry dancing together across eons. This scientific narrative is powerful, and it's backed by incredible evidence, from the cosmic microwave background radiation to the observed expansion of the universe. But what if there's another layer to this story? For millennia, long before telescopes and particle accelerators, humanity has looked at the same sky and found a different kind of answer, one rooted in faith. Across countless cultures and religions, you'll find creation stories that speak of a divine origin. A creator, a higher power, bringing forth light from darkness, order from chaos. These narratives aren't about the how in a scientific sense, but the why. They explore purpose, meaning, and our place within this grand design. Now, here's where things get really interesting. Many people see science and faith as two separate, competing explanations. You either believe in the Big Bang, or you believe in a creator. But what if they aren't mutually exclusive? What if they are two sides of the same cosmic coin? Think about it. Could the Big Bang itself be the very mechanism of creation? The ultimate "let there be light" moment, set into motion by a divine hand? This idea isn't new. Many brilliant scientists throughout history were also people of deep faith. They saw their scientific discoveries not as a contradiction of their beliefs, but as a way to better understand the mind of the Creator. They viewed the intricate laws of physics, the mathematical precision of the cosmos, as signatures of an intelligent design. From this perspective, science becomes a form of worship, a way of marveling at the sheer elegance and complexity of the universe. So, when we consider the creation of everything, perhaps the question isn't, was it the Big Bang or a creator? Perhaps the real question is, could the Big Bang be how the Creator's plan unfolded? It allows us to hold the awe of scientific discovery in one hand and the comfort of spiritual meaning in the other. It suggests that the universe is not just a random accident, but a masterpiece of unimaginable scale and beauty, one that we can explore with both our telescopes and our hearts. What do you think? Do these two stories have to be at odds, or can they weave together to tell an even more profound tale about our origins? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this journey, don't forget to like and subscribe for more. Hey everyone, welcome back to our series. Today we're diving into the life of a truly remarkable figure, someone who stood out in a time much like our own, Enoch. The Bible doesn't say a lot about him, but what it does say is incredibly powerful. We're in Genesis chapter 5, and the world is spiraling downwards. People are living long lives, but they're not living good lives. It's a generation described as wicked, a time when humanity's thoughts were continually evil. Sounds a bit familiar, doesn't it? It's easy to feel discouraged when we look at the world around us and see so much chaos and moral decay. But right in the middle of all this darkness, there's Enoch. The Bible gives us this simple, yet profound, description. Enoch walked faithfully with God. Think about that for a moment. He didn't just believe in God from a distance. He walked with Him. This wasn't a one-time event or a Sunday morning routine. It was his entire way of life. It implies a close, personal, moment-by-moment relationship. It suggests conversation, companionship, and alignment. In a world that was walking away from God, Enoch was walking with him. How did he do it? How did he maintain such a close connection with God when everyone else was going in the opposite direction? The book of Hebrews gives us a clue. It says, "By faith Enoch was taken from this life, so that he did not experience death." And it goes on to say that without faith it is impossible to please God. So, the foundation of Enoch's walk was faith. He believed that God exists and that he rewards those who earnestly seek him. This wasn't just a mental agreement. It was a deep trust that shaped his every action. This faith wasn't passive. Enoch's walk had a purpose. The book of Jude tells us that Enoch was also a prophet. He spoke out against the ungodliness he saw around him, proclaiming God's coming judgment. Imagine the courage that took. To stand against the tide, to be the lone voice in the crowd, warning people about the consequences of their actions. He wasn't just silently enjoying his private walk with God. His relationship with God fueled a holy boldness. He loved God enough to speak his truth, even when it was unpopular. This is so relevant for us today. We live in a world that often pressures us to conform, to stay silent, and to just go with the flow. It's easy to feel isolated in our faith. But Enoch's life is a powerful encouragement. It shows us that it is possible to live a life of integrity and devotion, no matter how corrupt the culture around us becomes. We can choose to walk with God, to cultivate that daily intimate relationship through prayer, through His Word, and through simple obedience. And what was the result of Enoch's faithful walk? The Bible says, "He was no more, because God took him away." This is one of the most mysterious and beautiful endings in all of Scripture. He didn't die like everyone else. His walk with God was so close, so intimate, that one day he just walked right into eternity. God essentially said, "Enoch, we're so close, why don't you just come home with me?" It is an incredible picture of the ultimate reward for a life lived in fellowship with our Creator. Enoch's story challenges and inspires me. It reminds me that my daily choices matter. My personal walk with God is the most important journey I'll ever take. It's not about being perfect, but about being present with Him day by day. It's about choosing faith over fear and truth over the trends of the world. Enoch proves that one person walking faithfully with God can shine as a bright light in the darkest of times. And that's a legacy worth pursuing. Thank you so much for joining me for this discussion. I hope Enoch's life encouraged you as much as it does me. If you found this meaningful, please give it a like and consider subscribing for more. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. See you in the next one. Hey everyone, and welcome back to our series. Today in part 6, we're diving deep into the story of a man you probably think you know, Noah. But we're going to look at his journey from a different angle, one that might feel surprisingly familiar to some of you. We're going to talk about what it feels like to stand firm in your faith, even when the world around you thinks you've lost your mind. Imagine waking up one day with a message, a deep conviction that you need to do something huge, something that no one else understands. For Noah, this wasn't just a small project. God told him to build a massive ark because a flood was coming, a flood that would cover the entire earth. Now put yourself in his shoes. He lived in a time with no weather forecasts, number 24-hour news cycle warning of impending doom. And most importantly, it had likely never rained before in the way we understand it. So what does he do? He gets to work. He starts gathering gopher wood, measuring out the dimensions, and laying the foundation for this enormous vessel, all on dry land, miles from any significant body of water. Can you imagine the looks he got? The whispers from his neighbors as they walked by. What's old Noah up to now? Building a boat? Is he crazy? There's no water here. This wasn't just a day or a week of ridicule. The Bible suggests Noah worked on this ark for decades, possibly up to 120 years. For over a century, every single day, he would have faced skepticism, mockery, and outright laughter. Think about the social pressure. His friends, his community, everyone he knew probably thought he was a fool. They would have seen him toiling away, day in and day out, on a project that seemed completely illogical. This is where the real test of faith begins. It's easy to believe when everyone around you believes the same thing. It's easy to be enthusiastic when you have a crowd cheering you on. But what about when you're all alone? What about when the only voice affirming your path is the one deep inside, the one from God? Noah was isolated. He was an outcast in his own society. The very thing he was called to do made him a target for ridicule. He wasn't just building a boat. He was a preacher of righteousness. He was warning people, pleading with them to turn from their ways and see the truth. But his words fell on deaf ears. They were too busy with their own lives, their own plans, their own pleasures. His warnings were probably just another part of the joke. There goes Noah again, rambling about a flood. Let's go have dinner. The emotional toll of that kind of long-term isolation and mockery must have been immense. Doubts must have crept in. Were there days he woke up and thought, "Am I really sure about this? Am I wasting my life?" He was human, just like us. But every time, his faith pulled him through. His relationship with God was stronger than the opinions of the world. He chose obedience over approval. He chose to listen to God's whisper over the crowd shouting. And that's a powerful lesson for us today. Maybe you feel a calling on your life that others don't understand. Maybe you're making choices based on your faith that seem strange to your friends or family. Maybe you feel isolated because you're swimming against the current of culture. Noah's story is a reminder that you are not alone in that feeling. True faith is often tested not in the storm, but in the long, quiet, and lonely period of preparation before the storm even begins. It's in those moments of being misunderstood, of being mocked, that our faith is forged and strengthened. Noah's perseverance wasn't just about building an ark. It was about building a character of unwavering trust in God, even when it made no sense to anyone else. He held on to the promise when there was no evidence in sight. When the first drop of rain finally fell, can you imagine the shift? The laughter would have died in their throats. The mockery would have turned to panic. And in that moment, the man they called a fool was revealed as the wisest of them all. His faith wasn't foolish. It was visionary. So if you're in a season of feeling like Noah, building something no one else sees the purpose of, hold on. Your obedience in the quiet, lonely moments is seen by God. Your faith, even when mocked, is a powerful testimony. Noah's story teaches us that faithfulness isn't about popularity. It's about perseverance. It's about trusting the architect, even when you can't see the full blueprint. Thank you so much for joining me for this part of our journey. I hope it encouraged you. If you're enjoying this series, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss the next part. We'll see you then.